I'll be right with you guys. I'll be right with you. Woohoo. Good morning. I forgot to do attendance yesterday, but that's not your problem. That's my problem. I got to make a note to do attendance. We got a guest today coming into the room about 9 o'clock. So, actually 8 o'clock, I'm sorry. So I got to get through my whatever I'm doing today really quickly. Let's see. How's everybody? You okay? Okay. I can't hear you. You can hear me, right? Okay. There she is. Let's see, do attendance. Oh, I'll remember. It's kind of a big deal. Attendance for today. All right. What we're going to do today, we're going to meet somebody or hear somebody that used to be in a class like mine in Clarkston and what they're doing now. We'll wait for a few more people to get into class here. At least you're wearing your Carlson shirt today.
I only have 2 shirts, and they're both Carlson shirts.
Well, you're going to have 2 shirts. Were you sick for the swim meet? Were you sick?
Yeah, I'm still sick. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We were wondering what happened to you.
Yeah, I was supposed to email you, but I forgot.
That's all right. Fortunately, we were able to produce it pretty well with who we had. Here comes Jacob. All right. Please sign in. I forgot to do attendance yesterday, but I will do that from yesterday's sign in. So I'll just put here sign in for attendance. Okay. Here comes Colin. Everybody's coming now. Good morning, everybody. Wait till a few more people come in. Remember that we have, it's 70 degrees, 70 some degrees today. So after my class is over, if you have time, go outside. This is unheard of kind of weather for November the 10th. Adobe Rush is what you want to be using. If you don't have the Adobe suite on your computers, Adobe Rush, I tested it last night. It can be on your phone. It actually does layers. It'll do everything for you. So you could shoot your thing on your phone, edit it on your phone, and then send it to Google Drive. Or not Google Drive, you can send it to Schoology when it's done. And do 2, you got to do 2 of them. So Adobe Rush Cc is the name of the software. Editing on your phone's not as easy though. Just be aware, you got a little screen. But it will do it. It will do what needs to be done. So nobody has an excuse. Everybody's.
I use Video Leap. I use Video Leap on my phone.
That's fine. Yeah, use whatever you need to, whatever you're comfortable with. Technology now is amazing. So download it in 2 seconds. You got an editing system on your phone. Record a little bit. Later in the week, I'm going to show you some stuff for your phone that you can get. It's like $14, and it turns your phone into like a pro camera. It's pretty amazing. You can play with the ISO. You can play with the shutter speed. You can play with. It's pretty neat stuff for $14. Uh-oh, one of my bulldogs. Well, the one that I worry about going to the bathroom in the house, she already went out. But the other one, I call him Stone Bladder. He's never went in the house, but I never want him to. Is that you, Biggie? I'll be right back, guys. What's there, Heidi? Okay. You okay? Where's Biggie? Where's Biggie? Okay, so anybody else coming into the class? I know we're going to miss one person today. Thomas is going to be missing today, he told me. But we got Aiden, Colin, Jacob, and Taylor so far. And everybody should know how to get on here now because they've done it. Everybody's been on my class. At 8 o'clock, I believe. Let me see if it's at 8 o'clock for sure. We've got a guest. Let me see what time I told him. Oh, did I? He's from the Motion Picture Institute, the oldest film school in Detroit, or in the Detroit area, I should say. It's in Troy. And he's going to answer some questions for you about going to that school. Here, Colin sent me a message. What is the Zoom code for today? Come on, really?
I couldn't find it earlier, but I got it now.
Yeah, it's right on Schoology. It's right there. Oh, there's Colin.
Wait.
Really, Colin? Come on, Colin. I've been recording my B-roll, and I haven't done my SOT yet, my sound on tape about my bulldogs, but I've been recording a lot of. I've been able to get some really crazy stuff with this thing. So my MOSOT, hopefully you like my VOSOT, my VOSOT that I'm working on. I'm going to do one also. I'm not letting you guys just do it. I'm doing one. As far as that guest is concerned, he will be here at, let me look up his name. See, he sent me, let's see. Give me 1 second, peoples. Flagged. I usually flag everything that's important. Here we go. Kevin Walsh is his name. He will be here at 8 a.m. So in 10 minutes. And I don't know how long he's going to be talking, but what he's going to do is tell you about, going, what happens after high school. You guys should be thinking about that, even as young as you are. His school that he represents is MPI, like I told you, in Troy. And we've got 1 or 2 students that go there every year, if not more. One year we had like 4. But you will actually get to go on movie sets. They do a really good job, I think. They do, you can go to Specs Howard, but I think MPI is a better fit for most people. And they'll teach you the ways of film. So he's going to be talking to you for a little bit. And then we're going to have a guy that was a success story from one of the classes like mine, who works for NBC News in New York. So we'll do that too today. And in the meantime, you'll be working the rest of the week on your VOSOT, oh my goodness, VOSOT, and my advanced classes too. They're doing the same project you're doing. So we're all learning about telling a story the best way that we can. So let's wait a second for some more peeps to come. Oh, let me share this again for you. Remember that tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Sam Orender is going to be on our Zoom feed, and it's at 1 o'clock, not at the normal time on Wednesday. The reason it's at 1 o'clock is because he lives in California and he doesn't want to get up too early. But remember, he's the guy that did Fuller House, Casey Undercover, Dog with a Blog, Jesse, I didn't do it. All these ones, Kicking It, Ant Farm. I know these are very familiar to you guys. So he did all these. He did 52 episodes of Hannah Montana, associate director. Very interesting individual. Make sure you have one question for him. And both of my classes are going to be on this. Trenton declined because they're all Trenton. I don't know if you know, Trenton High School is they've gone virtual till the 30th of November. So they're doing the same thing we're doing and making the best of it. So, all right. So this guy's coming on in about 5 minutes. And it would be great if you guys, ask him some questions about his school, how, if you don't go to college, you go to a school like his, you're out in 1 year. What are the advantages of that? What are the disadvantages of that? What do they get you to do as a student? Can you, go on a movie set? He'll talk to you, and a lot of their graduates have made it big and are on, major motion pictures and things like that. So if you're at all interested in film, this might be an opportunity for you to go to a school that's local. I think it's around $15,000 to go there for a year. But you do get scripting. They have scripting classes. All the classes are everything that no math classes, none of that stuff, because it's a technical school. So you're only learning the craft. You're not learning the other stuff that colleges would teach you. And that can be good and bad, but for the most part, it's probably good. If you're not going to use math a lot and you're working in the media, then you don't really need a math class that bad. You need a scripting class, how to do scripts and stuff like that. Anything going on, guys, before Mr. Walsh comes? Okay. He's a really nice guy. You'll like him. He was a teacher like me, retired a year or two ago, and then got this job. He even wrote a book. When I was first a teacher, I got a book, and I love this book. It had everything about what I teach. And it was by this guy named Kevin Walsh. And I never met him until I got on the board of the staff that I'm on. And I met him. And he goes, I wrote this book. And I go, that's the book that I got when I was first a teacher. And it was really interesting that I'd run into him, But he's real nice. He knows how to relate to teenagers, and he probably knows Ethan Webb from my class last year pretty well by now. Ethan's probably made some impressions on that school. The school is really small. It's right in Troy, and it's about a 45-minute drive from here. So it's something to think about. I wonder where everybody else is. Oh, your grades go in today. Some of you will like that. Some of you won't. I did the best I could to bump your grades up. Yesterday, I didn't work on any of them. I did them all over the weekend. So if you did stuff on the weekend and you got some stuff done, I made your grade better. But today's the day that they get transferred over. So it's a quarter grade. Quarter grades aren't as important as a semester grade, but it will, they take the 2 quarter grades and put them together at the end. So if you end up with a C, you can still make it an A if you work hard. Yeah. Oh, Taylor's got lighting. Hey, I like that. She's adjusting her lighting. I got a little light right here. Otherwise you wouldn't see me. And you're in the clouds, Colin. Do you like to fly? Have you ever you've flown on airplanes, right?
Yeah, I went to Florida.
Oh, that's right. You just went to Florida.
Right.
I don't like flying anymore.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put the grades in today or whatever, right? is there any way, are you going to like keep updating them?
Yeah, but there's nothing to update
Okay, so
right
it's
now.
not going to stay this grade until
Well, this
next semester.
grade may lock in. It may lock in everything. Everything, what I'm trying to tell you guys is everything locks in today. Everything you've done in the first quarter is locked as of today. You are going to get a first quarter grade, and then is no going back. It is your grade.
Right.
So be careful, you know, now that you know how it goes, make sure you keep up with your stuff. A lot of you did. A lot of you at the very end, you know, made up your some things that you were missing, and realize that the points that you get online are every bit as important, if not more important, than what you do in the classroom. So make sure you keep up with your ed puzzles, discussion boards. We'll have more discussion boards. Everything's worth 100 points. So I don't want you to think of anything as being less important than anything else. And your productions are important, you know, the quality of your productions and what you're doing. But you guys are doing good with that. I'm really impressed with a lot of the work that you guys are doing. Right, Heidi? Heidi's sitting here staring at me. I don't know what you want. What do you want, girl? Why don't you go lay down? The life of a bulldog. Uh-huh. So Kevin will probably pop in here in a second. We only got 4 of you, but hey, it's better than none of you. And then we'll listen to the guy from NBC News, which is really good. Tomorrow we're going to learn about, or actually Thursday, we're going to learn about audio. You're going to learn more about audio but audio is more important than video, believe it or not. So we're going to learn about audio, and you know, all that stuff on the cameras that you saw, all the little switches on some of the cameras we have. You're going to learn all about that so that you're going to understand audio, and you won't be surprised when something comes down, you know, in the future. When it comes to sound, you'll get good sound from most everything you're doing. Okay, it is now almost 8 o'clock. Let's see if he pops in here. He's very, very good at technology, this guy. He understands it better than I do. So yeah, your grades are going in. Tomorrow is worth 100 points. Just come on and give the guy a question. He's gonna have some great stories. Here's Kevin. Okay. Hello, Kevin. Perfect timing. Hi, Kev. Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you hear me now? All right.
Oh yeah, I hear you good.
Good. Hi, everybody.
We got a small group. They may grow.
That's all right.
I'm
just happy to see faces. Usually I see ceilings or cats or something like that.
Oh yeah, they got one of our rules in school is to be on camera.
Cool.
Most of the time. We give them breaks and things like that.
Yeah.
But you know, my next class, that's the one where you might see a ceiling, the animals running around, just kind of mayhem. That's the seniors, you know.
So Colin, I like your middle name. Colin?
Colin.
Yep.
And Aiden, you're probably misspelled all the time, aren't you? With an A-N at the end.
Not really.
No, not too often?
No.
My son is A-N, and he gets the E-N a lot, so I figured it happened both ways. So
yeah, we got a class of 10 this year at my beginning class instead of 30.
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
Right, because people just doing the local schools instead of between districts, or?
We're still doing the between districts. In fact, let's see, 3 are Carlson right now, 1 is not. And then we have some Riverview students, Riverview High School that should be here. I don't know where they're at. They'll pop in probably. And then an airport student that can't make it today.
Okay.
But yeah, my numbers are low, but it's really good. You know how it is if you're a teacher and you got low numbers, you know, I can really invest in them. And you
guys got a great ratio. I got two of your alum coming in this morning.
Yeah, I was telling them.
Ethan and Logan, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I told him you probably know Ethan by now, especially because just the way he is.
Hmm.
He's very talented. Very
Yeah.
talented.
So they both got DAF scholarships, so that was cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. I told him every year we have at least one or two
Yeah.
people that go to MPI. And I
Yeah.
told him, I just gave him a little intro, but Mr. Walsh is going to tell you about MPI. In fact, here comes some more students. Thing about virtual is they just pop in. And I want you guys to be thinking about where you're going to go after high school. And it's not too early. He'll tell you it's not too early to be thinking about where you're going to go. So I'll let you take it over, Kev.
Sure thing. Actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about another organization that Mr. Morrow is on the board for too, and that's DAFT and the Michigan Student Film Festival. And we've actually got a symposium coming up. I don't know if you can allow me to share the screen, Patrick,
I
or
can.
make me a co-host or something.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Let me see if they've given me that ability.
Usually it's by the little shield where you can, if you want to make me a co-host, you just click on the little dots up next to the three dots on the corner
Oh,
of
that's
my
right.
face.
I'm still learning Zoom.
No, unless you do it 300 times a day, it's easy to blend it, have it go away.
Okay, make co-host.
Yep.
And make co-host. Oh, I'm so high tech. There you go.
There you go. So you guys, I just put a couple websites in the chat window there. One of them is my day job, and that's at Motion Picture Institute. I'm going to talk about that. And also DAFT, which is the scholarship that Ethan and Logan both received. We give 4 partial scholarships here that's about equivalent to about $3,800, and they both got one of those. So there used to be one big full scholarship, but we actually found it was better received to have the partial scholarships that helped out more people and that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm going to take you to our website really quickly, and this is the DAF website, and this is the MPI website. So I like to kind of go through what we have at our school, but kind of have everyone just kind of look. This is our opening screen, but this kind of gives you an overview of all the things that happen on set. We've got it's really an on-set education. And with COVID, we had to do some blended, but what we did back in January was, if you go up to film program courses and sequences here, these are actually the courses that our current students are in right now. And the green is in term 1, and we're in week 8 of a 12-week term. So the camera and editing classes are Mondays, and production, and these are online right now, except for weeks 1, 6, and 12. So what's nice for Ethan and Logan, for example, it's it's about an hour drive to get to school from where they are, but they only have to come in 2 days a week. And then, so they're coming in this morning for directing and directing the visual story. And then after that, they're in basic camera and sound. So that's today. And then tomorrow is a really cool class called Production Lab. And if any of you guys feel like a journey up here to Troy to check things out, this class is really cool because everybody gets like 2 weeks in each department. And so what I was going to do is I was just going to show you a quick video of the last year's class on the very first week. So if you go to our website and go to Mpi Showcase, this is a whole bunch we've got a podcast that we do a lot of interviews with our alumni. We're on iHeartRadio. So we talk to actresses. Grips, Jeremy is one of our instructors. He worked on Law and Order for 10 years. Drew is a producer. Here's a filmmaker, actress in Germany. Here's an editor. And so you can just kick on here and listen to the podcast about those things. The other thing that's, you can check out our past virtual open houses. And we just had an open house just the other day. But in August, we had this really cool session where we had stuntmen. So if you click up here, this is a playlist. And we had stunt workers, script supervisors. Amber worked on Thor Ragnarok. She lives down in Atlanta. She worked on Baby Driver. And so you can kind of scroll through. So if you guys want to, and Mr. Morrow, if you ever want to, just give them kind of a guest speaker. These are all sessions that how to do the red camera. So if you click on this, for example, and I always forget to turn off the audio. So let me go back and hang on one second. I always forget to check that little box right here.
About themselves and then take it away with the demo.
So anyway, right here, they're actually
an S35 super 35 millimeter size sensor inside of this camera, and that larger sensor plane that we film on is going to give us that really nice shallow depth of field, that cinematic look that you find in your house.
So Patrick is a professional cinematographer, for example, and this is a RED camera. And the RED camera, this is, you know, the whole package of a RED camera can be $25,000, and we actually have 6 of those cameras here. I'm going to admit Noah to the class, or you already got him, huh, Mr. Morrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have nothing better to do.
Yeah, that's right. You're the bouncer. So you go to, but I'm going to take you to Mpi Diaries, and we actually just added a new one from one of our students this past week. He just graduated, but all the way at the bottom of it, these are the students. This is just the 3rd day of class last year. And this is actually a look on that class that's going on tomorrow, production lab. So if any of you guys are interested in coming up on a Wednesday to visit our production lab, even if you wanted to come up in the evening, you could do that. You could come up around, 7:30 at night, and you can get on our set to see what's going on. But this is what it looks like. In a minute.
My name is Rob Skates. I teach cinematography, and I also am the camera department instructor for our Production 1 class, which we just wrapped up. Well, I think the big hook and sort of the thing that makes Production Lab class so interesting is the hands-on environment.
All right, so now we're checking our levels. Levels should sound good.
Pretty much from the first day, students will have a sense of what it's like to be on set. And if you haven't been on a set before, it can be a little bit overwhelming. What we do is we separate into camera, lighting, script continuity, and sound. We spend 2 hours getting instruction in those departments and then 2 hours on set. So pretty much after our first day here, I think you can go on a set anywhere, and I'm not saying you can jump in and start doing the work, but I think you can get a pretty good sense of what's happening with the different departments.
I want to back it up here just a second. So I'm nullifying, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons here, but right here, this guy, Hunter, is also featured on, it's at the very top, and he just graduated and he made a film, and he's already working. He just graduated 2 weeks ago, and he's already working on HGTV, right, being shot right here in Detroit. But this is a year later, basically, and this is a film that he made, so just a glimpse into the film, but he actually built it right on our set.
Something sticking? Are we good still?
Is it all right?
I don't know, something,
Is it not playing, or?
it's not playing.
Oh,
We see a freeze frame of your
oh,
video.
but you can't hear it though, huh?
No.
Okay, well, that's all right. I will hop off the screen share and we'll go back from there. So anyway, just to give you an example though, did you guys see some of the footage from that RED camera and how nice it looks, the cinematic? You hear me out right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. All right. And so one of the things that's kind of important is they spend a lot of time with the really professional gear. Hey, Jacob, you're making me dizzy. And so what we try to do is give you hands-on, but with COVID, one of the things we did was to rearrange the classes. So we put as many things online as we could for safety's sake and all that. And our classes are actually a little smaller now. They're 20 instead of 25. But the classes are actually taught on our soundstage instead of a classroom. So there's a lot of open space. So if you go back, I'm going to try this one more time here. And if I go to this and go to MPI's website again, one of the things I'd encourage you to do if you want to is if you just go to Meet MPI and go to facility, This is actually a walk around of the entire place. It's about 5 minutes long. I won't walk you through the whole thing, but this takes you through everything. And it's got our editing lab and everything like that. That's, you know, built in our break room, and, you know, it's basically everything you'd want to see except the bathroom, basically. But one of the things when you get into the equipment room, Jeremy's room, is it moving okay, Patrick, or is it?
Yeah,
okay?
It's a little stuttery, but that's, you know.
So one of the things right here, these are our two top line cameras. This camera on the left is a Canon C100. It's about a $4,000 camera. We've got 5 of those, and this is our red camera. This is the digital camera that can be the whole package with the lenses and everything, can be about a $20,000 camera. Jeremy is the one who worked on Law and Order, and he basically set up this equipment and checkout room the same way you would have a grip truck. The audio's over here on the left, all the cameras are over here on this side, and then as you move around. So basically the students get familiar with all the terminology, the equipment, all the storage and placement and everything, so that when they graduate, they're ready to step on a film set and actually be, you know, employed right away. And that's what's happened. Our classes take place on the sound stage, so everybody's, you know, maintaining social distance. We got masks on and everything like that, but we decided to move it out here onto our sound stage. Have any of you been to DAF's media symposium? I don't know if any of you were.
None of them.
Okay, so this is this like an intro class, an entry-level class?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, good. All right, any seniors or everybody underclassmen?
Do we have any seniors? I don't think we do.
Okay.
They're all juniors.
Well, one of the things we're doing this year is the symposium, and this is actually going to be a virtual symposium, and but we also are having people come on campus. So I think, Mr. Morrow, you were interested in bringing some students here, is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, good.
Absolutely.
And I know some schools are kind of limited on how many people they can bring or if they can even go on trips. So this is actually what's going to be happening at MPI. That's the teacher page. So I'll blow this up a little bit so you guys can see this better. But some of these are going to be virtual. These are all DAFT alumni. Blake is an agent. He's an agent out in LA. Rich is an animator for the gaming industry. He works at Sony, and he does all kinds of animation for games. Dan Casey is a screenwriter, and he's from Royal Oak originally, but he just got to travel all over the world while they were shooting his script for Fast and Furious 9. He's going to join us. Doug Blush is an Oscar-winning documentarian, and he's won, the last 5 years, he's had 3 films that have won Oscars for documentaries. He's either as a producer or an editor, and he's from Rochester originally. And these guys, the Pierce brothers, are actually from Royal Oak, and they just made a film that was the #1 film in the country last May at movie theaters, and because the movie theaters were drive-ins. And so these guys wrote and directed a film called The Wretched. Have any of you guys heard of that film at all?
Anybody hear of The Wretched? Horror flick?
Yeah, I'll show you. How about we take a look at the trailer? Is that all right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to scare anybody, but
ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
This is shot in Traverse City.
Hey, neighbor. You see anything weird outside your house, you tell me, all right?
Dad, Mom's being weird.
Mom's always been weird.
What are you doing up here?
Don't let her in.
My son likes to play hide and seek. Can you bring him down?
I didn't say he was here.
You're a very
very stupid boy.
Can I help you? Is Dylan home?
Dylan, down here, baby.
You know, your son Dylan?
I don't have a son.
He had no idea who I was talking about.
Listen to mommy. Stay, Dylan.
He's gone. I know it.
I'd like to report a missing kid.
Are you okay, Ben?
Where is your sister?
I need you to tell me what's going on. Ben!
Very good.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is like I said, this was all shot up in Traverse City, and these guys are just from Royal Oak. They were actually students of mine when I had them in '96 and '98 at Royal Oak down to high school. So one of the things that they're going to talk about is writing and directing, and so that's going to be here at. They'll be joining us virtually. So I think probably the way the schedule is going to work is you guys can be here at MPI in the morning. So Rick Veers will be here doing a sound. We're going to have going over the film festival and some entries and how to be selected for film festivals. We're going to have lighting and camera work. Tara, who's an amazing first assistant director, she's going to talk about that and kind of give a demo and have people go through the steps of being an AD on a set, a movie set. And they're actually the ones who run the program. And then we're going to directing actors. And so this will actually be an onstage demonstration of how to direct actors, because actors are different on camera than they are in film. And so Scott Norman, who's our acting instructor and one of our grads, is going to be doing that. So then we're going to switch over to, these are all going to be Zoom. So I'm kind of thinking, Mr. Morrow, and you can actually be my beta tester. Does that schedule work for you guys? So you get here around 9, you get to leave around 12:30 or 1. And then when you guys get back, the students can all join in on Zoom for the rest of this stuff at home.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, good. How does that sound to you guys? The schedule sound decent? Interested? Okay, cool. So one of the things we do at MPI is we really want to get you here, not just to have you as students, we'd love to have you as students, but also just this is a really great center for filmmaking in the area. And a lot of times people just don't get a chance to be on a real soundstage and see the real gear that is used on commercials and music videos and all that. And the other thing is we really spend a lot of time trying to get people careers and get them inside on a set. How many of you guys know what a PA is? Anybody know?
They might not know. We're learning terms right now.
No, that's cool. Most people don't know. Production assistant. And a lot of people, we talked about this at our last open house because that's kind of your foot in the door. And a lot of people say, how'd you become a lighting guy, or how'd you become a sound guy, or whatever? And a lot of times you come onto the set as a PA or production assistant. But what we do here at MPI is we get you trained on all different aspects. So lighting, sound, camera work, all that kind of stuff. So that by the time you're halfway through the year, you probably kind of know what you want to zero in on. A lot of people walk in our door and they think they want to be directors or writers, and those are the big things. And those are great careers. But a lot of times you're actually going to be a better writer, a better director, a better actor if you actually know all the jobs. That's what, it's true even in a restaurant, a manager who's never been a dishwasher or a waiter or anything like that, they're not going to be as good a manager because they don't know all the jobs. So what we do is Hunter, that was the video I was showing you. He's actually working right now on HGTV, and there's a new series that's being shot in Detroit, and he's a PA. And he's a writer and he's a director here at MPI, but right now he's just getting coffee, he's wrapping up cords, he's keeping, it's hard to say this early in the morning, keeping people off the streets or walking on the set. And one of my students I had, he actually works down in Atlanta now, and he worked on Black Panther, and he worked on Selma and Walking Dead. He worked on a lot of Walking Dead episodes and Ozark. His first job was a PA, and it was shot right here in town, Gran Torino, the Clint Eastwood movie. And I was an extra in that movie, and I saw him on the set. He didn't even know what he was doing. He says, well, I'm just keeping people away from Clint Eastwood. He had to stand there with a walkie-talkie and look tough and keep people from drifting into the movie scene. But because he knew cameras really well, he started hanging around the camera guys during all the time that's being used for setting up and everything. And that's where you make your connections. And they gave him a chance to try the Steadicam and, you know, practice. And that camera guy ended up being his sponsor for the union. And now he's in the camera department and he's doing really well. So there's like 115 jobs on a movie set, from caterer to producer and director. And one of the things we like to do is try to give everybody a lot of experience in all those different areas. So I'd really encourage you guys, if you get a chance to, when you go to our website, just, you know, kind of scroll across the top. There's a lot of stuff up here. We've got news stories and everything like that. But also you've got, you know, these past student films. You can look at all, if you go to Alumni Spotlight, these are all of our alum that work in different areas. So like Amber's the one I was talking about, who worked on Baby Driver. She worked on Batman, Superman, Transformers, Age of Extinction. And you can kind of take a look at these and get an idea and say, well, I didn't even know what an associate producer does, or I didn't, you know, and you can look at all these different, you know, music video director. That's a full-time job. That's a very lucrative job if you're really good at music videos. So you don't know what's going to end up being your foot in the door for careers. And you can actually go ahead and fill out an application. Those of you who are not seniors, we actually have a high school camp that we offer each summer as well that you might be interested in taking. So do you guys have any questions?
Need some questions.
Even about the careers in general?
Have
It can be about the movie industry.
Some just popped into. Anybody have any questions about MPI and the movie industry? Anything Kevin could help you with? Somebody's got to have a question.
Yeah.
Not really something he can help me with. I'm just kind of more curious.
Sure.
So you do like meet the actors or not necessarily?
You mean like on big time movies or in general?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Most of the time, like there was a movie that was shot here in Detroit. One of my students produced, and I'll show it to you real quickly. Because I was an associate producer on it, which means basically I was helping out with all kinds of weird jobs. But you're probably going to recognize a couple of people on this, in this scene.
Oh, morning, Bill. Beautiful day. Oh, look, our new recruit. Welcome, playa.
Dial a prayer. How may I pray for you today?
Oh, this rash. Can't you stop the itching?
This is Cora.
He told me he wouldn't do it again if I gave him a third chance.
Well, and I think you should tell your husband to go to hell.
All right, anybody recognize anybody?
That's Meredith right there from The Office.
That's Meredith from The Office. And you've got, anybody watch Shameless? William H. Macy is this
morning, Bill.
Right here. And also,
beautiful.
And this is the star of the movie, Brittany Snow, and she is in Pitch Perfect and a lot of other films. She was in a TV series, that kind of thing. But that was shot here in Troy. That was shot just around the corner from here. And the reason it was shot here was because it was, the film incentives were done, and my student Jason, who is a producer, he lives in LA, but he brought the movie back here to be filmed because he could get some good connections for offices and things like that, but also because of the tax incentives at the time. So anyway, I was on the set for it was about a 3.5-week shoot, and they had to reschedule the arrangement. That's the funniest thing, is movies are not shot in order. They're shot based on the convenience of locations. So you may want to shoot all your exterior night shots all in a row, so all your gear is ready and you got special cameras and lights, and they can all, but the night scenes may take place over 9 different places in the movie. But William H. Macy, who was the guy in that, who was from the TV show Shameless, he could only be there for 8 days. That was it. So they had to rearrange the entire office and it takes place over many months. So I helped get some students, former students, jobs on the set, and they were dressers. They were in the art department, and they had to make the set Christmas. Then they had to make it Thanksgiving. They had to make it Easter and Halloween. And they sometimes had to change 3 different holidays in one day. And they're going in there and moving things around. Everyone had to change their clothes. So while they're doing all that, the actors have 2 choices. One of them is they go sit in their trailer or their special room somewhere, or they can come out and hang out. And Meredith, that's Kate Flannery, she was super cool. And my mom actually was an extra one day, and they needed some old people. So my mom came in, and my mom was a big fan of The Office. And so she came right up to her, and they hit it off immediately. So actually, since then, Kate Flannery has come back to town to be at Comic-Con. And she actually came over to our house for pizza, and she swung by and said hi to my mom and everything like that.
Cool.
Yeah, and William H. Macy came out, and he just had a ukulele, and he came out and sat with the extras and had Girl Scout cookies and was just hanging out because he was bored sitting in his room waiting for the set to be changed over. So it's not, but the thing is, on a movie set, it's like you don't speak unless you're spoken to. One of the things that MPI does a really good job of is basically making you completely professional on a set. So you're ready for anything. But it's really important for any job, not just in the film industry, that you are always willing to chip in, you're willing to be a good team member, but also that you're ready for anything. And the people that complain, the people that jump ship and start telling the director how to direct, they don't work for very long. And actually on that set for Dial a Prayer, which is, again, it was like a 25-day shoot, on day 24, the assistant director got fired, because he had finally driven the director crazy because she was a first-time director. She was she was a Broadway actress, but she went to the American Film Institute and became a director. But he crossed the line. He kept telling her what to do, and he was like looking down at her, and she finally had enough, and the producer stepped in and said, you're out. And he had to jump in. So my student, Jason, who was producer, but he knows all the jobs, he had to jump in and be a first AD that day. And the first AD is the one who yells cut. They're the one who yells quiet on the set. They're the ones who run everything for the director. So the director and the director of photography can work together and not deal with all the nuts and bolts going on. So anyway, that's like the moral of the story is, you always be ready, be on time, be early, be ready, chip in. And probably Mr. Morrow can tell you from his experience in the industry, you never know what the day is going to bring. You can be expecting this one thing to happen, and all of a sudden everything turns 180 degrees, and you got to be ready. And if you're flexible and you're cool and everybody gets along with you, it carries you a long way in the industry. So, long answer to your question there, Colin. Sorry about that.
That was good.
Anybody else got any questions?
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I think we have some other aspiring, let's see if they're on here, but
Connor?
Any other questions, guys? For
Mr. Connor's got one.
Okay.
How many people are usually on set?
On a typical movie?
Yeah.
Probably like for an indoor scene, like we were seeing, you could have probably, each department may have, like the lighting department may have 3 or 4 people. The sound usually has 2 people, one guy holding the boom and the other person recording everything and making sure the levels are good. The camera department is usually 3 or 4 people. So it's like the first assistant, then the director, it has the first assistant director, second assistant director. So you'd probably take that a typical, if you were shooting in a bedroom or an office scene and an indoor thing, you might have anywhere between, 12 to 18, 20 people there. But it could obviously, the larger the scene, the larger the crew. And if you guys are Game of Thrones fans at all, if you go in and watch some of the behind the scenes of the last season, I think they had a big battle. I think it was episode 3 of season 8. They shot it in Northern Ireland all night for like 25 straight nights. And it was just the most mind-blowing thing I've ever seen, is just how much craziness was going on. But and that had hundreds of people. I was on the set of The Dark Knight. The the same student who did Dial a Prayer, he was actually in college in Chicago, and he got to work on The Dark Knight. And I was there visiting my sister, and I called him up. I said, "Oh, you want to grab lunch?" He goes, "No, I'll be sleeping." I said, "What?" He goes, "We're shooting all night for the next 2 weeks downtown Chicago. You want to come on the set?" I said, "Yeah, what are you shooting?" He goes, The Dark Knight. And I said, "Oh, what's that?" And he goes, "It's the next Batman movie." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go to that." So I got to see Heath Ledger in the Batmobile, and it was a scene. How many of you guys raise your hand? Anybody seen The Dark Knight? Okay, so you know the scene where the truck goes by and the Joker opens up the door and it says "Slaughter is the best medicine," and he's got the bazooka with the okay. So that was the night I was there, and they had to rehearse it 6 times. So you have 200 people downtown Chicago, closed down Lower Wacker Drive from 7 p.m. till 6 a.m. So that's a lot of money. And if you want to rent Chicago, for example. And they did all this rehearsal, and the whole night I was there for like 11 hours, they ended up shooting what was about 18 seconds of the movie. And you know, that's why movies cost. That movie cost over $200 million, but it made, you know, $2 billion. So it was a good turnaround on. But most movies don't make money, but sometimes studios will go in and figuring the artsy movies may not make money, but you know, Fast and Furious 42 will make money and pay for the other ones. So it's definitely a business. So, okay. Anything else? I really encourage you guys to check out the DAF website. We've got some contests coming up. And again, we've got scholarships here to MPI. So if you go to the DAF page, you go to the home page, you can kind of scroll through the different things that are happening here. So we've got school membership deals that we just put together, the teacher symposium on the 4th. So if you want to enter our film festival, you can just click on this and you can go right to the entry page. And it's got, you know, you can click right on here to go to our film freeway, and you can actually submit something right away and look at all the categories. So if you're interested in, you know, maybe next year, a scholarship to MPI, you know, if you take Best of Show, which is the top prize, then, you know, you could you can get a big chunk off. Our tuition here at MPI is $15,000, and it covers 12 months, 4 days a week. And we actually have student aid available and scholarships now too. So, okay. Well, I know I'm over time here, Mr. Morrow. Sorry about that.
You're good. You're good.
I actually have to go check in now. And part of my job is scanning foreheads with the thermoscan when people come in. So I'll be seeing Ethan and
oh yeah, tell you said hi. Tell him I said hi.
Sure will. Any last minute questions from anybody?
Any more questions, guys? For Mr. Walsh? Nobody?
All right.
I'm going to see you again at 10.
Yeah.
With the seniors.
Okay, cool.
So you can just pop right back in on the other link.
Yeah, and feel free to email me if anything I said was way too boring and you want me to change it. All right.
I love it. Love it.
All right.
Well, thanks a lot, Kevin.
All right. Good luck, you guys. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Let's see what time is it right now. It's 8:30. Good. Okay. So thanks for participating in that and asking some questions. Kevin, Kevin's an interesting individual, and he runs the DAFT organization, which is the Detroit Area Film and Television. They're probably the best organization for high school students to learn about television and film. And there's 16 people on the board or something like that. I'm one of the board members, and we meet twice a year, and I'm able to find out stuff for you guys. And he's the catalyst, though. He's the one that makes everything go. So he really helps a lot of students. So you get to know him, you know, he can get a lot of opportunities for you, especially if you're into film, television. He knows a lot of people. So what I'm going to do now is I want to play for you, since he was talking about people that have made it in the industry that he either taught or that were at MPI. I just want you guys to know that this is the possibility of going places. And some people will go to college. Some people will go to trade school. Some people that are real successful from my classes don't go to anything. They go into the field. And so I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm not saying don't go to trade school. I'm just saying if you really love this this line of work and you immerse yourself in it, you can do really well. It's one of the few lines of work where credentials don't mean as much as your experience and your abilities. So for instance, there's this guy here. His name is Paul. I want to show you what I'm talking about. He was he's from Michigan. Oh, don't forget, since everybody's online now, don't forget tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Sam Morinder is going to be here. And these are his credentials that he's worked on all these shows. These are shows that you grew up with. So make sure that you stop by at 1 o'clock and have a question for him. One of the most popular questions is Miley Cyrus. How was it working with her? He's got some interesting stories. But this guy's a native of Michigan, Paul Gerke. He went to school about an hour from where we're at. And what I want to do is share with you a little bit from him. And what they did was they interviewed him via Zoom, and they used a student to interview him, and she did a great job. And here's a guy, he's about 30 years old, and he was in a class like you are right now, a vocational class. And 10 years later, 11 years later, he's in New York City working for NBC News, traveling to the Olympics and doing different things. So here's a little bit of that. Just want to share this with you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jillian Tate, and I'm a senior at Davidson High School. Today, we are having a conversation with NBC News anchor, Paul Gerke. Paul once sat where you are sitting now at a Mpi conference trying to find out the secrets of becoming a professional journalist. Paul's career has led him from Flint, Michigan, all across the country to Boise, Tampa, Phoenix, and even to Brazil and South Korea, both as a news and a sports anchor. Paul joins us today from his home in NYC, and he will discuss his career path, share his industry secrets, and take your questions. Hello, Paul, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's always nice to see you guys, especially that old DTV room. I've got a lot of fond memories out there in Davidson.
All right, so let's start. How it all started. Tell us what you remember as a high school journalist, and how did you use those experiences to jumpstart your career?
High school journalism is really, truly where it all started for me. It's where I fell in love with a lot of the tenets of broadcasting, shooting video, editing stories, telling other people's stories. And it all started with sports for football team my junior year in high school, and quit right after camp because my mom couldn't get me to practice on time, and the coach was making me run laps, and I was way too out of shape for that. And so shortly thereafter, I found out that I was accepted into the DTV program, and it all started with shooting football games. It was a chance to still be on the sidelines, even though I wasn't suited up, but still an active participant, something I wanted to be a part of. And it just sort of expanded from there. And shortly thereafter, DTV sort of became my life. I found myself eating lunch in there instead of being in the cafeteria. I found myself there every day after school working on projects and broadcasting events. And then once I got out of school, I realized that I wanted to do something in this field. And I loved writing initially. And so I went to Grand Valley State to be a writing major. And then after 3 semesters, transferred to the University of Michigan Flint, where I switched my major to broadcast journalism and finished my degree there. But it did all start in DTV. I mean, there's access in some of these programs in the state of Michigan to equipment that you guys really wouldn't touch in college, let alone at the age of 14, 15, 16. And so it's just such an invaluable tool. And it certainly was for me. And it makes me so happy to know that the path that me and some of my colleagues have blazed has led to future opportunities for people like you.
All right, so let's talk about when you started actually working. What are some of the struggles that you face early on in your career as a young professional?
Financial struggles first and foremost. My first full-time on-air position was at WBKB in Alpena, Michigan. We joked that it was called We Barely Know Broadcasting, WBKB. A lot of kids right out of school, and knowing that it's our first job and we don't have a ton of experience, we don't command much money. I think I made $18,000 a year salaried my first year in this business. I was on government food assistance. I saved my Michigan bridge card to prove it to my future self that I really did pay the dues. I was eating 75-cent packets of Spanish rice for dinner back in the day. So it's really tough up front, especially if you're not really committed to it, because you have to make those sacrifices to go out and pay your dues somewhere and really learn how to do this in a professional setting. Not to say that Market 208 is all that professional, but when you cut your teeth there for a year, you learn how to do everything. And that makes you invaluable in this business, and it allows you future opportunities where instead of $18,000 a year, you could make 30, which is what I made in my second broadcasting stop. But from there, you can sort of snowball once you accumulate that skill set, and you don't stay broke forever. The key is just perseverance. But I would say financially, that was the biggest, toughest thing. And then obviously moving away from home.
Guys, I need you on camera just to know that you're here, you're active, and we're paying attention. That's all. I just want to make sure. This guy, just so you know, he went the broadcasting route. He went television station. Not everybody does that. I did too. I did the television station thing. But nowadays, most people don't do the television station route.
The business has changed a lot since I got into it 13 years ago. That said, you still do have to be willing to travel and move and climb up the ladder if you do want to make it to a network position or a top 10, 15 market. And so you can't be all that tied to your friends, your family, your home. You have to be willing to say, okay, this is my career. I'm going to take it seriously and make the sacrifices I have to get where I want to be.
Along with those struggles, what were some of the major ups and downs of your career?
Let's start with the ups. We need a little optimism in 2020, shall we? I was fortunate enough to cover a whole bunch of cool events as a sports anchor. I worked for NBC in 2 different Olympic Games. I was in Rio, as you mentioned at the top of the stream here, in the 2016 Summer Olympics, and then in Pyeongchang in 2018 to cover the Winter Games. Those were the 2 most difficult things I've ever done professionally. It is really hard to go 25 straight days in a foreign country working double shifts where you don't speak the language and you're sequestered in a little Olympic village where nothing is easily accessible and security is tight and technology fails and you're thousands of miles away from home. It tests you. But in the end, retrospectively, it was so incredibly rewarding to do those, as well as some of the other major sporting events I had the chance to get my hands into. A Stanley Cup final, a national championship game, even a Daytona 500 down there when I was working in Tampa. Those have been some of the highlights. And making it here to NBC News. I'm a relatively new NBC News employee. I signed here in March, actually 2 weeks before the pandemic started. So I could not have had any worse timing when moving to New York City. But it is still an awe-striking experience just to walk into 30 Rock, just to be in Rockefeller Center at the heart of NBC News and look around and kind of be like, I am in some small way a part of this. It's still head-scratching now. And I would say some of the downs of my career have just been those moments where you question whether or not all of this is worth it. Because when you're signing 2- and 3-year contracts and you're away from friends and away from family, as I was saying a little bit ago, especially if things aren't going your way professionally, where you're chipping away, but you're not feeling like you're making a lot of progress or not getting the opportunities that maybe you feel you deserve, you sort of have to steel yourself to it. It is a mental battle as much as anything else. And there's also the added mental tax of trying to be right all the time. I mean, we live in really divisive times for journalists, where I'm sure many of you watching have probably been, if not chastised, made fun of by some of your friends or some people you've met because of what you do. You're fake news. I don't say it's really hard to speak the truth these days. And so it's really hard to make mistakes, especially as a young journalist, and that will happen. I've done some dumb things and tweeted some dumb things where in retrospect, I would have collected myself, thought about it twice, made sure my information was correct, and maybe handled things a little differently. But that said, making mistakes is also part of the business. And I think that anybody watching this should not be afraid to try things because that's how you learn.
So I know we just talked a little bit about the ups and downs, but especially since you have such promising career in front of you, what is the biggest highlight so far?
Oh, that was really flattering of you to say. I don't know about that. Times are hard right now in the pandemic.
Has anybody seen this guy before on TV? He's pretty young, but he's been on some
I don't watch
stuff.
TV.
Huh? No, nobody's seen him before?
I don't watch TV.
Oh, you guys don't watch. You watch YouTube and watch computers most of the time. Well, let's see what his biggest thing he's done. Now, he's only 10 years out of high school, 11, 12, something like that.
The most promising thing or the most, how did you phrase it again?
So what's like the biggest highlight you've
She's
seen
doing a
so
great
far?
job, by the way, interviewing him.
Geez, that's a tough one. I would say I had a really good time producing an NFL show in Arizona. I worked for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and excuse the trucks, we're right on 9th Avenue in New York City. They're real loud. Thanks, guys. We're not busy or anything. Back to what I was saying. I worked for the Buccaneers for 2 years down in Tampa, and I worked for the Cardinals for 3 years out in Arizona. And we produced a Sunday night show that was NFL centered that aired right after Sunday Night Football. And I would say the early success of that show was probably the most rewarding experience in my career, because we were pulling in really big Nielsen numbers. We had a lot of viewership. Granted, our lead was Sunday Night Football, which I believe is the most watched weekly television program in the country. That said, some people were sticking around to watch me and my show, and that was special. And then when we won an Emmy our first year, that was my first Emmy, and it was really special just to be able to do it with that show, because I felt like my hands were so in it. I was writing it, I was producing it, I was anchoring it. And to be rewarded and recognized on a large scale like that was really special.
So what tips do you have for younger journalists that are going to go into the same career path?
Yeah, I've been saying the same message for the bulk of my career. And although the industry has changed, I think the general skill set hasn't. You need to learn how to do a little bit of everything. And you can't be afraid of that. I think there are some young journalists who don't really understand how small some of these crews are, and how even at the upper levels of television journalism especially, but even more so for written journalism, there just aren't that many people to help you out. Like, you really need to know how to be self-sufficient. And that's another reason that programs like DTV are so special, because you're not just anchoring reports, you're not just writing scripts, you're directing shows, you're shooting stuff. How many editors are in that room? A dozen of them probably, right? You really do need to learn how to do everything. And I would say that anyone who is looking for a career in this field, learn at least a little, and definitely focus on your writing. There is such a lack of competent writers in this business. And I'm not saying that to point fingers at anyone I've worked with over the years, but every place I've ever been in is looking for good producing talent. They're looking for good writing talent, whether it's commercial copy, whether it's news copy, whether it's promo copy. It's just so hard to find people who are good writers right now. If you can focus in on that skill set, I promise you can get a job anywhere in this country working in TV journalism if you can be a competent writer.
Excellent advice. So we have our first Q&A question from Karina Maruri. I don't think I said that correctly.
No, you crushed it. You nailed it. You got to say it with confidence. That's another tip for the young journalists out there. Just say it like you mean it.
So the question is, what goals kept you going, or dream? What kept you going?
Oh, yeah. I think to me it was, it's called the gambler's fallacy. And it's actually like a bad way to think about things. The gambler's fallacy dictates that you shouldn't send good money in after bad. So let's say you put a lot of money on the poker table because you're playing a hand, you're confident about it, and then you lose it. The gambler's fallacy dictates that you should spend more money to try to get that money back. But that's bad advice. Don't do it. But I would say the gambler's fallacy has encouraged me to stick with my career, because after you put some of that time in, after you sacrifice for that first move or that second move, and you get to the third destination, you're like, well, heck, I'm making a little money doing this now. Why would I give up now? Why wouldn't I want to see it through? And so I think the accumulation, hey, heads up, you got a wild Randy Scott lurking behind you. Hey, go Lakers, Randy. I think that once you kind of get that snowball rolling and you have a few accomplishments and you show that you can be competent doing this, that you really kind of want to push yourself. You want to see how far can I take this? And there's always an economic factor as well. People at network actually make a little money doing this. And so to pay your dues in local television, if your goal is aspirational and you want to get to a network level, you don't want to quit before you actually get the payoff. Let's not joke. We do this stuff because we love it, but we also do it because paychecks are nice and having a roof over your head. Sticking with it is the key.
I like that answer.
We'll
a really good answer.
Have one more question.
The Q&A portion is open, so if you have questions, please send them in. Until then, I'm going to ask you a question of my own. What was the moment you knew that this is what you wanted to do with your life?
I've been asked this question a few times before, and I think the answer changes depending on where I'm at in my career. But I always harken back to a really special moment that I had in high school, where it was kind of like a lawless Wild West back in the early 2000s, where the program was really just getting started and was taking a lot of chances. And I was fortunate enough that some of the people that run that program, including Randy, believed in me and trusted in me to take some chances. And we had a round of funding cuts to DTV, and we were short a couple grand and needed some money for some new equipment. And so on homecoming, my senior year, we fixed up the broken old DTV van enough so that we could drive it in the parade down Main Street at 5 miles an hour. And me and one of my best friends, Mike McManaman, who was also a part of the DTV program, sat on top of the DTV van, and with megaphones, we're talking about our all-night telethon for DTV. And then after the homecoming game, we were up on the press box, live on community access television, trying to solicit donations, whether it be for local business, gift certificates, or for various stunts. I believe I shaved one of my legs that night. Also got the program in a little bit of trouble. That said, that moment was so special to me, and being able to ad-lib, being able to really create and have my hands in something, and to be able to have that agency, that sovereignty to make decisions and be goofy and have fun, but yet also do good. And that's really what journalism is about, right? Doing good in some way, even if it's doing something silly. That it kind of just, I had a hankering for more. I wanted more of that. And so I think that in some ways I've mirrored that throughout my career, where like I really love being a fulcrum on a team where like my decisions carry weight, where like I really can make decisions that influence our product. And I think that that was maybe the first moment that I ever felt some of that power. And it's, you get a little bloodlusty after it, you know, once you get a taste of it, you want more.
Okay, so today's topics have been basically, what could you do in the future with this stuff? Is there really a job in it? Yeah, there is. Lots of people make a living doing this stuff, and there's lots of chances to get jobs with 300, 400 channels on cable, with YouTube, with all these different outlets. All you got to do is find your niche. So that's basically what my bulldog. That's basically what I wanted you to share with you today, is that people actually that are in these classes make it, go places. Some don't. Some are really talented and don't go places. Maybe they're not very, good to work with, or maybe they don't have a passion for it, to where, you got to really have a passion in this field. But if you love this, if you love editing and shooting, coming up with ideas, writing, you can make it. I wanted to share with you that I've been using my camera to shoot B-roll of my dogs for my most VOSAT. I expect you guys to do a little bit of work and do a VOSAT. Editing is not a problem. Use whatever editing platform you want. I offered Adobe for days and days now, and only a few people took it. But Adobe Rush Cc. So if you look it up on the App Store after we get off this call, then you can download it and you can use that to shoot your little project. Remember, topics are unlimited. Do something interesting, though, that would be interesting to another person, that you think would be interesting to another person. It could be that, your grandmother used to work in the steel industry, and she used to drive a high-low or something. I don't know. But something around your house, topic-wise, you don't have to go out and do anything. You can do it right in your house. It could be any topic. So remember, I talked about the dogs. I talked about the guy with the X-Wing. I showed you what he did, doing an interview with a guy. All you need is a sound on tape and then edit B-roll over it. So the more B-roll you get, and the reason I did my dogs is because I have lots to say about them, and I've got lots of pictures, lots of video. Last night I was able to record them in some circumstances where they were making weird noises and things that I thought you would be interested in. So that's your project, is to do 2 of those. So you should be working on that when you're not, in school, on Zoom classes. You have plenty of time to work on these small projects. Monday, we're supposed to go back to school. So if we go back to school on Monday, then you can use the equipment, you can use the editing in the classroom, but this is a good time to get some editing at home. There's free software out there. There's also this software called Davinci. And for those of you that want to take it to the next level, let's look at Davinci real quick. It's free. Get rid of this for now. All you gotta look up is Davinci. And Davinci Resolve is a software. It is not a toy. Let's see, Black Magic is who makes it. Here, oh, that's not what I wanted. I want the actual Davinci 17. Here we go. This is the software, Davinci Resolve. It's big time stuff. It's not a toy and it's free. Well, there's a free version and there is a paid version. The paid version is about $300. Hey, for Christmas, $300. No, you don't have to do that. Get the free version. Free version does almost everything that you would need done. The advanced version just does a couple of really high-end things. But it includes effects, audio, post-production, color. It's known for its color. Big time people use Davinci Resolve, and it's made by a company called Black Magic. And you can download it for free today on either Windows or Mac and start editing with it. In fact, I have it on my computer and it looks a lot like what you're using right now. It will take a little while to get used to it, but you're using a very professional editing software for free. And all you have to do is play around with it. Look at some YouTube videos about how to use it. In fact, I don't even think you have to look at a video to know how to use and do the basic editing that you're going to need to do for this project. So the only thing is you need a pretty capable computer to run it. So it's got to be like a gaming computer. But here it is. Look at it. It's got a timeline just like we use in class. It's got bins to look at footage. So if you want to look at footage and move around. Oh, in fact, I just realized I got a lot of footage of my dogs that I can use. Yeah. So, leave Papa alone. So, yeah, this is really cool software and it's free. So what more can I say? And it looks a lot, it works a lot like what you're using right now with Premiere. Look up here, you got different effects libraries, different things that you can add to your, some of you guys will love this. The ones that are really into editing are gonna love this stuff.
Mr. Morrow.
Yeah.
Will this work on a Chromebook or no?
No, Chromebooks are crap. Sorry.
Do you know like what editing stuff will work on a Chromebook?
Nope, not aware of anything. Use your phone. Use your phone if you don't have a computer that's capable. Use your phone with Adobe Rush Cc, and you can actually do a lot of the editing that I'm doing right here on your phone.
Okay.
I hate to say that a phone's better than a computer, but Chromebooks aren't made for that kind of. It'll really bog down your computer. So I'm giving you what I'm trying to tell you is I'm giving you everything I can to allow you to do the projects that I'm requiring while we're not in school. And you know what? You'll feel a sense of accomplishment when you get one or two of these done. These like the VOSATs that I got you working on. You know, once you start doing them, you're going to start seeing, hey, I can tell a story. I know how to put stuff together that looks interesting, and all of a sudden you're going to keep taking it to a higher level, and that's what you're wanting. Yeah, so make sure you work on those. Make sure you don't let those fall by the wayside. Those are due on Friday. You got lots of time to work on them. In fact, I'm still working on mine. But wait till you get all the footage before you start editing, or you're going to get flustered. You're going to, oh, I got to go shoot this. I got to get this. Wait till you shoot everything. Try to shoot everything at once. Get everything you need, then go into the edit. And then you got everything there, and you don't have to keep, shooting or anything. In fact, I recommend you shoot both before you sit down to edit. 2 topics. Like my other topic will probably be either my wife, if she allows me to do it, about her battle with COVID, or it'll be this airplane that I have of my dad's, because he was he had a Purple Heart in the Navy and a Distinguished Flying Cross for almost dying. So I might talk about that, but I got to figure out which one I want to do. And how I determine that is which one's a better story, which one can I get more B-roll for, which one can I really make it good. And I know my bulldogs were number one because I got access to so much stuff. So be thinking in that route if you haven't already shot it. Try to shoot it today and tomorrow. Give yourself plenty of time to edit and deliver it at the end of Friday so we can watch them in class on Monday. That's what I'm hoping. Any questions, guys? Anything going on before we?
I'm going to Florida on Thursday.
Ah, no way.
Yeah.
Who's talking, Connor?
Yep.
You're going to Florida. How dare you? Okay, you're going to Florida on Thursday. Can you get it done before that? Yeah, sure. No problem, Mr. Morrow. I'll shoot it today and edit it. Remember, it's only 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. So that means you got 4 minutes of content to do at the most. That's 4 minutes. It's really not that much time. You just need someone to talk about something really good and very interesting for 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, and then put your B-roll on top of it to make it a complete story. And I always think about natural sound. My dogs have natural sound all over the place. So I'm using natural sound I've already got it in my head. I want to start out with a couple of shots maybe of them making these weird noises and how they sleep and snore, just to get you into it, and then start talking about the dogs and showing B-roll of them. Okay, so think of a story, look around your house, say, hey, oh, that's that thing I picked up in Florida when I was there, and there's a story behind this. You know, the crazy guy came out of the woods and tried to sell me this, thing, and I paid $50 for it. And anyway, so you're talking about just making a story.
Also,
Fine.
how do I get the Adobe softwares?
What about Adobe?
Yeah, Adobe softwares. Like, how do I get them? Because I've signed up for them in there.
If you signed up for it, I asked the last couple of times we've been on the thing, if you leave a note on the chat, I will send you the code. But send me a note on the chat and say I need Adobe software, and I will send you the code. And it's quick. You got to download the Adobe Creative Cloud, and then you got to log into it using the credentials I give you, and then it'll download all the software to your computer. If your computer's a Chromebook, though, it'll probably blow up.
Oh, no, I don't.
It'll start smoking. The screen will melt. No, it won't do that. But you need a computer that is capable
I got like a Mac.
They say 16 gigs of RAM minimum for this stuff, but you can run it on 8. But some computers have 4, so you'd really be struggling with 4 gigabytes of RAM probably. So yeah, you just told me you need the Adobe. So what I'll do is I'll send you a private message. In fact, I'll send it right now while I'm thinking about it. Here, I'll send you exactly what you need. Anybody else have any other questions?
About like the whole about like the careers and stuff. It's pretty overwhelming. Where would we even start?
How you start is you just do everything. Like the guy said, that's the best way to do it. You get involved in the sports, you get involved in the editing, you get involved in everything, and you end up finding your niche. My niche was camera work. Then it was a little bit of editing too, that kind of thing. That's where I got my niche. But you'll learn that you're really good at some stuff, even better than other things. And then all of a sudden people will start wanting you to do certain things. Like if you're a great editor, people are going to start, what's this here? People will start hiring you to edit weddings or whatever it is that you might end up have a good niche at. And then you just keep getting better at it. And that'll be, but you need to know everything. You need to know a little bit about everything, kind of like a teacher. I got to know a little bit about what you guys are doing, even if I'm not really great at it, because writing's probably my least. I have good concepts in my head, but putting them down on paper is hard. But I used to edit and shoot, at a very high level. So yeah, just do everything. Try to get into everything. Be the first one to say, hey, I'll help you with that. If I have a basketball game, I'm gonna have a bunch of basketball games coming up. Run camera on those basketball games. Do stuff like that. Oh, I gave you, by the way, Connor. I'm sorry, not Connor. Let's see. Yeah, Connor. Connor, I just sent you the credentials to it's that Adobe is your username. Adobe, it says Adobe 03 or whatever at Jibdis, whatever. And then your login is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's all you need. Write that down. That's all you need to get the Adobe suite. But don't share that with anybody because you can only have it on 2 devices. And we've already got these on 1 device at school. You're allowed to use 1 at home. And if you share it with somebody, if they're on it, you won't be able to go on it. So it's your private code for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
But I got hired at 18, right out of high school at Channel 62 in Detroit, WGPR, working on a TV show. And twice a day I would drive to Detroit. And they did the scene, they did all these disco shows and everything. And I'd walk into the studio and there'd be ramps with lights, and they did wrestling, those wrestlers that were fake, that were really big and popular. The Sheik, all these old, they had some strange things going on in that place, but it was real well known, and people like some great musicians would come into the place. Limos would arrive in the front of the building. There's some cool stuff that I got to experience. But you guys, if you really love this field, really immerse yourself, get into the gear, get into the but the main thing is writing and storytelling is so important. Not all of you are going to be great writers, but you might be a really good editor. You might be a good camera person, really good at knowing what needs to be on the screen. But if you can write, you can call your own ticket, because writers are, there's not very many good writers. So, that's how it is. Okay, so tomorrow, 1 o'clock, hope to see all of you, as many of you as can come on that 1 o'clock call, because that guy will be on who did all those TV shows that you grew up with, and he'll be able to tell you some great stories. And this is our chance to really, this week, reach out. And I'm trying to get more people that I worked with over the years that you might be interested in. Camera people from Los Angeles. I got a couple of them that I'm reaching out to that work on all kinds of stuff, with Johnny Depp and all these cool things. And just to show you that these people lived in Michigan, Groseal, right around here, and now they're living out in LA working on television. So if that's what you want to do, it's possible, definitely possible. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. Anybody else have any last minute things about their grades? I'm trying, if you put in any kind of grade stuff last night, it may not make the cut but I did upgrade everything on the weekend. I went back and went way back for some people and tried to improve your grade. So starting Monday, I think we're into quarter 2. So just keep up with your stuff, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock, hopefully. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
I won't be here tomorrow.
See ya.